So what is going on, guys? It is your boy Garage Gaming here, and I have not done one of these in a very, very long time, but here we are, back at it again with the devblogs. Now, I'm going to be skipping the Italian devblogs purely because I just don't really have time to cover them in a bunch of separate videos. I think I'd prefer to cover them in just one big, long video when they come out. Honestly, the interest isn't quite there. I know some of you might want to see that, but honestly, there are plenty of other, much larger, better War Thunder YouTubers. Just check them out instead. It'll be much better for you. Today, we're going to be looking at the Sho't Kal Dalet, aka the Sho't Kal Dalet, because this thing is going to be awesome. And for those of you who don't remember or are new, the way I do this is I read the entire devblog first, all the way to the end, and then afterwards I will, voice my opinions and talk about the vehicle in general. So, let's get right into it. So, Sho't Kal Dalet, Conquering the Desert. The Sho't represents the Israeli version of the Centurion tank, which entered service in the IDF in the late 1950s. Soon, fans of British armour will have the chance to command an exotic modification of the Israeli Centurion, fitted with a more powerful engine and additional armour protection. Meet the new King of the Desert in War Thunder Update 1.85. It just says here briefly, a late version of the Israeli Centurion, equipped with ERA, a more powerful engine, the Israeli L7 gun, and an expanded ammunition choice. So, this actually comes in a pack, a pre-order kit, which, if you're on PS4, you won't be able to get this until after the pack comes out, but don't worry, they give you leeway time, so that if you buy it immediately, it will give you all the stuff. So, you get the Sho't Kal Dalet tank, rank 5 Great Britain. You get premium account for 15 days, 2,000 golden eagles, a pre-order bonus of the Gaesh formation decal, and then the pre-order bonus unique title Scourge. So, the devblog continues with, in War Thunder, the Sho't Kal Dalet will join rank 5 of the British Ground Forces tree as a new premium vehicle that offers a unique Middle Eastern flavour to the well-known Centurion tank. Unlike its standard counterparts, the Sho't Kal Dalet offers improvements in numerous aspects, ranging from mobility and improved protection against heat ammo, making the vehicle not only more versatile overall, but more sustainable for the fast-paced combat of high-tier battles. The instantly noticeable difference between the Sho't Kal Dalet and any regular Centurion is the additional Blazer ERA protection, mounted on the vehicle's front and sides, similarly to the Magach 3. The Blazer ERA package assists in dealing with various high-penetration heat rounds that are often used at higher ranks. As such, it will be credited to save the vehicle from an untimely demise on more than one occasion. Furthermore, the standard 650 horsepower Rolls-Royce Meteor petrol engine was replaced by the more powerful 750 horsepower Continental diesel engine. The more powerful engine, in combination with the new transmission, made the Sho't Kal Dalet substantially faster compared to the regular British models. In fact, the Sho't will be the fastest of any Centurion model in War Thunder, with a respectable top speed of 48 km per hour. Despite these differences, the one thing that really sets the Sho't Kal Dalet apart is closely tied into the vehicle's firepower. Although it uses the Israeli version of the well-known Royal Ordnance L7 gun, the Sho't Kal Dalet offers a very good APFS-DS round, as well as HESH and even a HEAT-FS shell, making it the first vehicle in the British tree to do so. Additionally, tank commanders with a soft plot and machine guns will certainly appreciate the wide selection offered by the Sho't, including the familiar M2 HB 50 caliber machine gun, as well as a 7.62 coaxial and two 7.62 MGs mounted on pintles on the roof. The vastly improved performance of the Sho't Kal Dalet and its rather unique visual appearance makes the vehicle interesting in itself. However, it's also worth mentioning that the Sho't, with all of its premium benefits, nets higher rewards for every performed action in battle, thus substantially speeding up your process through the higher ranks of the British Ground Forces tree. The Sho't Kal Dalet can be obtained by purchasing a special pack from our online store and will become available. Happy hunting, Commanders. So, what we have here... Hang on. So what we're going to be after in terms of the in-game performance of this vehicle will be interesting, because we already have the Magach in-game as an Israeli modification of an M48 pattern that essentially turns it into an M60. This is also equipped with Blazer ERA, has a Continental engine of, I believe, 750 horsepower, although I can't remember to be sure. So it's essentially just a heat-slinging M48 that's just been modified to M60 standard with HEAT-FS coming straight out of the box, and it's also immune to heat effects with the Blazer ERA. So these are very good vehicles at taking on Leopard 1s. Now, the Centurion, the Sho't, which is how it is pretty much known in real life. Sho't, by the way, means whip or scourge. It's a Hebrew thing. It's weird. Essentially, this is going to be a better version of the Magach. They probably go round about the same speed. Centurions are bigger than M48, definitely not in the 60s. However, the thing is, the Sho't will have more machine guns, allowing it to, be far more combat effective against any kind of MBTs. I'm just fucking with you. So the main thing with the Sho't will be its APFS DS round. So out of the box, this tank will be able to fire lawn darts, very hardened tungsten darts at enemy tanks. That would net very high penetration and just very good combat effectiveness in general. That pretty much counters any of the steel armored and even some of the composite armored tanks that we already have in game. This thing would be very dangerous to... I know that Heater Fest can pen MBT 70s, so I can imagine the APFS DS would be able to do that. Pretty much anything shy of the top tier MBTs would be threatened by the existence of the Sho't. So I'm just really questioning, what are they going to put this at? Because they're going to do it as a rank 5 premium, sure, but I get the feeling this is going to be one of those 8.7s, whereas the Magach will remain back down at 7.7. Simply because I think it would just be too difficult to put this thing at 8.0 or 8.3, or it's definitely too powerful to be at 7.7. APFS DS at that battle rating, it's just, the ability to just simply punch through everything that you see. I mean, this thing would be able to fight King Tigers if it was at 7.7. Heat FS is enough for Tigers to deal with. APFS DS, and pretty much sheer immunity to its own ammunition, aside from the penetrator. So, to me, this thing would be very good at dealing with the earlier Leopards, the one that don't have APFS DS, purely because of the ERA. If its battle rating was lower, this would be more effective, kind of like it is on the Magach. But with the battle rating at a higher level, similar to the T55 AM and the Leopard L44, I think that it's going to be one of those, it's just on there for aesthetic, or maybe to counter some ATGMs, maybe. I'm not too sure. I think the ATGMs might have too high penetration to actually be stopped effectively by the armor, the ERA panels on it. One of the good things I'm seeing with it, though, is the speed. So it is a lot more mobile than the average Centurion. So I think we already have 3 premium Centurions in the game now, with the Sho't being introduced, the Swedish version with the robot missiles on it, and the armoured engineering vehicle with the giant howitzer on there as well. It's interesting to see a variant that has both firepower and mobility incorporated into the actual model itself. So, I don't know, I think it would be a positive change for Britain. Britain always needs more vehicles. It's always going to be a case of, we've accepted that Britain is going to be one of those sort of secondary nations, so to speak. Now, I know a lot of people don't like it when that is said. However, one must realise that after the Second World War era, sort of going into the 50s, 60s, 70s, that is when British tank development doesn't necessarily wind down, but it sort of gets eclipsed by the Germans, the Soviets, and the Americans, which is relatively understandable because Britain has always focused on its navy, and the navy, the Royal Navy, was definitely neglected in that period even then. So you can see that tanks wouldn't exactly have the priority. They had the Centurion, they had the Conqueror, they were pretty much set for tanks. Chieftain was developed from FV4202 and Centurion, and then you just go to the export market, and that's just the lessons you'll have to learn from that. So they were exporting Centurions pretty much everywhere. They exported Centurions to Australia, my country. They exported them to South Africa, which are still in use today. Either that was a licensed production thing or an export thing, I don't quite know for sure. And among other things, they essentially just a very very widespread tank. These things were sent, like, these things fought in the jungles of Vietnam, some of them fought in Korea, things like that. So, and of course the Yom Kippur War with the Israelis, where they really sort of tested these vehicles to their extreme, of course with heavy modification. So no, I believe that any kind of additional British tanks are a good thing. Any tanks overall. People don't like that it's a premium, however, Gaijin is a company, they have to make money, we have to come to terms with that sometimes. I can understand when people get upset with their greed, but honestly no one is forcing you to buy this tank. There are still plenty of excellent British mainline tanks, at least until you get to rank 6, then that's when it sort of goes to shit. So yeah, honestly there isn't much else to talk about in terms of what it will mean in-game. So just a bit of interesting trivia for you. The history of the vehicle is pretty extensive, the way the Israelis modified it, and honestly it's worth a good read. So the name of the tank, when the Israelis first received them, they were called, the Sho't, or I don't know Hebrew very well, but, the Sho't, which is, scourge or whip. The Kal part simply refers to the modification where they put the Continental engine into the vehicle. So Sho't Kals are Continental engines, and then Dalet simply refers to the ERA package put onto the vehicle. So Sho't is the base model, the Centurion, Kal is the engine, and then Dalet is the ERA, which is a really interesting naming scheme for vehicles. And then of course the Magaks, they had just different numbers for each different variant or improvement over the original. I think our one in game is like 5 or 7, or I can't remember to be sure. Wait, sorry, no, it's the Magak 3. But it goes up to 7, sorry. So there's a lot of interesting variants that come after Magak 3. So the curious thing to think about is, where would the Merkava go? The Merkava is the sort of penultimate Israeli tank that is developed indigenously after they were importing Centurions and Pattons from the Americans, British respectively. If you wanted to go in depth, if you truly wanted to go in depth and add a lot of the Israeli vehicles, you could actually give one to the Soviets as well, with a T-54 modified with the L7 gun. So you can do a lot with these vehicles, and especially with Israel. So yeah, but that is all the time I have for this video, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. It has been your boy Garage Gaming, and I hope to catch you guys next time. Hopefully I have remembered how to do these videos properly, and it's not just a big spiel, but hey, see what happens.